In this tutorial, we're going to give you an overview of the Clipart that is included with your Aspire software. We're going to show you the various ways to install it, where they're located on your PC, and the special features that some of these files have integrated into them, and then we'll give you a quick guide on how to import and load them into your software. Aspire includes over $5,000 worth of free 2D and 3D Clipart for you to use in your projects. This Clipart comes in various formats, and some of it has special features that only Aspire can take advantage of. There are 3 ways to get your free Clipart installed and available in your software. Install it from the installation media you may have received, download and install it from your V10 account, or you can do it from within the software itself. If you have a product installation USB drive, you can simply install your Clipart from it. All of your content will be available in your Clipart browser the next time you open up your software. If you don't have an installation USB drive, that's not a problem at all. When you purchased your product, you would have been invited to V10. This is where you can access your license details, the installers for your software, along with your free Clipart and project files. You'll need to go over to portal.vectric.com, type in your email address and your password. Once you sign in and verify your email address, then you have access to everything that V10 has to offer. To start with, you'll see any special offers that might be available for you for upgrades. You'll be able to take a browse through our free projects, content from Design and Make, and also see what we're up to in the near future. And then you'll be able to view your downloads. On your downloads page, you'll see a listing of all the software that you own. Also, there'll be an indication of whether or not an update is available. If you need your license code or want to install any of the extra packs of Clipart or content that you are entitled to with your software purchase, just click the View License and Download button. On your software's download page, you'll find your registered username, your license code, the main installer for your software, and any extra packs that you're eligible for. In this case, all of our Clipart is listed here. If you choose to download and install the Weaves Clipart pack, just click the download button and save the installer someplace where you can find it. When you're ready to install the Clipart pack, go find the installer and double click on it. You'll be then presented with our installation wizard. Just click the next button on the first screen. Make sure you read through our license agreement and agree to it, and then the installer will put the Clipart where your software can find it the next time you open up your software. If you choose not to download and install your Clipart from either your USB drive or online through your V10 account, then you can always do it through your software. In your Clipart tab, at the top you'll see all of your groups of Clipart, and at the bottom you'll see any of the Clipart that is in those groups. So here, if we go ahead and click the 3D tabs section, you'll see the 3D tabs here. These are the 3 that are installed. If you go to decorative, this is what I have installed that is in the decorative category. If we go back to our tabs for a moment, and you'll see that right here above the actual icons of the tabs is a little cloud icon and a refresh icon. If I click on the cloud icon, you'll be presented with, or I'll be presented with, any of the Clipart that I'm eligible to download from my account. Now, as long as I have an internet connection and I have my information to log into my portal account, I can go ahead and download those from my Clipart browser. There are a couple of different ways I can do that. One is I can right click on one of the pieces of Clipart I'd like to download and choose Download. At that point, it'll check to see if I'm logged into my portal account, and if not, I'll have to go ahead and do that. If you're not logged in, click the Login and Refresh button, and then you will be required to log into your portal account. Just type in your email address and password. When you're logged in, you'll be asked to allow your software to talk with the portal. Just click Allow. And once this is complete, you'll be ready to go. Close down your browser window, and then you'll be logged in. Close that down, and you'll see that your Clipart will be downloaded right away. Alternatively, what you can do is just drag your piece of Clipart you'd like to download straight into your project, and it will download right away for you to use. If you'd like to download a whole pack of Clipart from within the software, just go over to your Clipart browser, right-click on the Clipart pack that you'd like to download, and then choose Download from the menu. All of these in-software methods will work as long as you're connected to the internet. It doesn't matter which of the previous methods you use to install your Clipart, it will always be installed and located on your hard drive in your C drive, users, public documents, Vectric files, and Clipart. And you can easily navigate there using your Windows Explorer. Now inside of here you'll find all of the different packs that you've installed. So for instance, if you downloaded the decorative pack, you can find it here. Or maybe you've chosen to go ahead and download the animals pack. It'll also be located here. Let's take a second and talk about how we can get our Clipart into our actual job. The first way we can do that is to go ahead and use your Windows Explorer. Open this up, navigate to your Clipart folder, and simply choose the piece of Clipart you'd like, and then you can drag it into your job. We can just go ahead and move that now to the center of our job. So that's one way of doing it. Let's delete that. The second way would be to go to your modeling tab and click on import component or a 3D model and navigate over to your Clipart folder, and then again choose the piece of Clipart you'd like to import in, and there you have it. The third method, which is the one that we use most often, is to go to your Clipart tab, and in here you'll find all of your installed packs of content. Again, we can take a look at our animal folder, and we can just choose the one we'd like to have, double click on it, or we can drag it in. Those two methods will get our model into our job. Now something that's a little more temporary, if you just need to get access to maybe a file in your downloads folder, you can choose your local files. And you can navigate through your hard drive to where you need to be. In this case, I went back to my Clipart folder and went to my animals folder, and you can see all of my animals are here, and I can just double click or drag the piece of Clipart I like to have into my job space. Some of the 3D content that you receive with your software comes in 3 different styles. For instance, this fish has 3 different styles that come with it. And the best way to demonstrate what those look like is to actually bring them into a job. So let's just go ahead and tile our job. And we can bring in the first style, which you see is actually raised off the surface of our modeling plane. We'll just size him down. We have our second style, which is the same fish, but he's inside of a smooth dish. And then we have the third style, which is inside a sculpted edged or a hand carved look. If we go ahead and click on our modeling tab and add in a modeling plane, we'll see that in our 3D view, we'll also go ahead and hide our modeling plane, that we have the A version, which is raised above our modeling plane, the B version, which is in the smooth dish, and the C version, which is inside the sculpted edge. Now we can just go ahead and delete all of those. And we'll take a look at our weaves. Let's just go ahead and redraw our modeling plane and look straight down at that. Now our weaves come with 3 different versions as well. There's the weave and that has a dash I at the end, or a dash II, or a dash III. And the best way to illustrate that is to bring these in again individually. So this is the I version. Put that up out of the way. And here's the II version. We'll slide that over there. Then here is the III version. And you can quickly see what the 3 differences are. The first one has a round, smooth dome to it. The second one has a flat with a beveled edge. And the third one has more of a ribbon feel to it. Let's take a second and have a look at the content that you receive if you're an Aspire customer. Once you download and install your packs of 3D and 2D content, you're going to be able to take a look through those. And you're going to see some obvious things that look different. When we're talking about our 3D content, you'll see that some of our content's thumbnails is a darker color than others. The lighter colored content is V3M files. The darker colored content is a file type that we call 3D clip. And a 3D clip file has some pretty interesting things or interesting properties about it. They can include one single component, or they can include a group of components. So to illustrate that, Let's go ahead to our decorative pack and double click on our C scroll, and you'll see that it has an X at the end, and that means that it's actually a piece of clip art that's made up of groups. So let's double click on that, and it will pop it right into the center of our job space. If we go to our modeling tab, you'll see that in our component tree we have our C scroll listed with the -X at the end, and it has a little plus button at the first or at the head of all of that. If we click that, you'll see that this component is made up of, or this group of components is made up of some single components and also some other groups of components. So we can go ahead and turn off the bits that we don't want to see, or we can leave on the stuff that we do want to. So if we wanted to add a different motif to the center of this, we can leave it just as it is. Now let's just say we want to go in and see how we constructed this. Well, we can go ahead and ungroup these. So we need to work from the top, and we're going to ungroup this first bit, and we're going to see now we have the platform by itself, the petal group, and the scroll group. And again, we can turn those off and on if we would like. And if we want to see how we built this petal, we can right click on it and choose ungroup, and then we'll see all the different components that we have, that we created to group together to give you this full component group or 3D clip file. Now let's just go ahead and select all of those, turn them off, and turn back on our C scroll. Now again, to illustrate the power of this, if we ungroup the C scroll, you'll see that we have a whole bunch of little C scrolls, and we're just going to turn off all of those and just leave one visible, and we'll ungroup that one that is visible, and you'll see that this object or this component was made up of 3 components, and you can actually see what they are. Now what's really great about this is that because you have Aspire, you can save off your own 3D clip file. So if you have a group of components that you think you're going to want to always use grouped, or that are important to have grouped, and you may ungroup them or edit the group later, then you can go ahead and export out your groups. And it's just as easy as right clicking on a group. So let's just group these all up and choosing to export as a 3D clip file and save that someplace where you can find it for your later use. Another good example of a piece of 3D clip artwork that we give you with Aspire would be in the same folder called decorative, but it's the corner post. So if we double click on that and bring it into our job space, we'll see this lovely looking corner post. If we look straight down on that, and then we take a look at our modeling tab, you'll see that, of course, in our component tree, we have one component. It happens to be a group, and we can go ahead and open up that group, and we can take a look to see how we actually built this component. So you'll see that we have our decoration on the top, decoration on the bottom, the rounded bit, and then the wedge on the edges, and then the round outer tips. Not only is this great for you to go in, let's say if you have a couple different versions where you can edit out or you want to swap out your decorations, but this also is a great learning tool so that you can teach people, or they can see how you actually went about creating some of these models. Let's take a look at some of the other interesting content that you get with Aspire. We also give you texture area tiles. These are tileable pieces of clip art. So for example, if we bring in this block wall, double click on it, and let's just scale that down a bit. And this clip art has been specifically designed to be tileable, but also to utilize one of the tools that we have built into our software. So if we move that off the bottom of our job space, go to our modeling tab, and with this selected, go ahead and choose create a textured area component. If we select that, now there's a guide that will teach you all about using this particular form. So I'm just going to go with the defaults that are here. But if I click apply, what will happen is Aspire will take that piece of clip art that we had at the bottom, and it will actually create a full wall of bricks. And if we close this down and we take a look at our modeling tree, you'll see that we have a new component created, which is this full block of bricks. And we also have our original component, or our seed component, below. Now let's just go ahead and delete those. And go back to our Clipart tab. We have our texture fill tiles. I'm not going to go into that right now, but there is a whole dedicated video on how to use those. And if you're interested in that, I certainly would go ahead and have a look at that. We have a set of textures that are not tileable. These are perfect for putting in the background of signs. These are actually bitmaps that we've created textures from. So if we take a look at one of these, we double click on it and we zoom way out, this is an actual piece of bark. So these will make really nice backgrounds for different layouts, or you can get creative and use these for all kinds of different things, like textures on walls, or even when you're doing a layout with Clipart, you might want to use these just to kind of add a little bit of extra roughing to maybe a board or to the face of a rock. We also include some free content in the form of actual Aspire files, which are .crv 3D files. And let's have a look at one of those right now. So if we go to File and Open, we're going to navigate to our Clipart folder again and look in our Ribbons folder. If we have a look at ribbon number 1 and open that up, and let's go ahead and tile our views to make sure we can see both the 2D and the 3D view. And if we take a look around the 3D model, you'll see this is a lovely ribbon with all kinds of folds in it. And it looks really quite nice. I think it'd be quite a usable model as well. If we look straight down that again and have a look at our modeling tab, you'll see that this file contains two components, one which is a group and one which is what you see right here in the 3D view, which we call ribbon 1 group baked. So this is the result of what is included inside of this group. So if we turn off our ribbon and turn back on our group, everything looks exactly the same. But if we ungroup that group, then you'll see that we have a left-hand side and a right-hand side, and we can turn those on and off independently of each other. And then also inside of those, if we ungroup these, you'll see the actual folds that we used to create the finished model. Now that is everything that's typically included in something like a 3D clip file, but because this is a CRV 3D file, we can also include in vectors. So if we look at our vector layers, you're going to be able to see that we have sweep vectors and outline vectors. So if we go ahead and turn on the sweep vectors, you'll see that we have some lines or drive rails, and we have some cross sections here at the bottom that we use to actually make these folds. And then we have the outlines that we used to crop off those two rail sweeps when we're actually done with them. Now, if you're interested in how that works, there's a whole tutorial based on how to build ribbons, and you can watch that and you'll actually see how we use those vectors to create the finished ribbon, which is what we see when we close down this group, hide everything, and only show this component in the end. We also give you another set of Clipart that is delivered to you as CRV 3D files, and those are our weaves. So if we go ahead and open an existing file, and we navigate to our Clipart folder and look in our weaves folder, you'll see that we have a whole pile of weaves here. Now these are all CRV 3D files, as I've said, and if we go ahead and open one of those up, the first thing you'll notice is that there isn't any 3D component. Even in our modeling tree, there isn't any 3D component. But if you look at our layers tab, we've given you all kinds of different vector layers. So first of all, this is sort of the basic kind of starting pattern. We give you a set of cross sections that you can actually extrude along these lines to create the weaves. And we also give you some alternate paths, some variations on the initial path, so you can create some really unique and interesting weaves. Now, if you do want to know more about how to create these weaves, just look through your tutorial browser for weaves, and there's a whole video on how we go about doing that. Once you've chosen and installed or downloaded and installed the Clipart that you would like, I highly recommend that you take a look through those and explore all the different options that you have. These certainly will help you to learn the software quicker and easier, but also should add to your projects in the end.